Welcome back, my weebs and otakus. It's Otakunofuji with another game video. It isn't a lewd game, but it's definitely anime AF. It's Real Fishing Days of Summer for Xbox. Honestly, it's genuinely one of the worst fishing games I've ever played. And progression is incredibly stupidly monotonously grindy. But I also found it strangely addictive, because I don't mind games that just give you a checklist of stuff to do, which is ultimately pretty much what this game really is. Real Fishing Days of Summer sucks, but play it anyway maybe? As always, if you like this or any of our other content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Your support really helps us out. First off, I have to admit I have been very wrong about the Real Fishing franchise for the last 25 years. I never actually played one before Days of Summer, but I was always under the impression that these games were 1, generally well received, and 2, supposed to be realistic fishing simulators. I was totally wrong on both of those things. All of the games have gotten pretty terrible reviews, to the point I seriously don't understand how it has lasted this long, and they most definitely are not fishing simulators. They're fishing JRPGs where you have to play by the game's very specific rules in order to catch fish, instead of actually, fishing. When I first started playing Real Fishing Days of Summer, I hated it. Instantly, immediately. It is genuinely one of the worst, if not the worst, fishing games I have ever played. I bought it at launch, played for 15 minutes, and deleted it. $30 down the drain. But I figured, I needed to support it on Xbox regardless, so hopefully we'll get more games like this in the future, so it's okay that I hate it. But about 6 weeks later, I decided to give it another try and try to be more open-minded. I suppose I'm glad I did because I'm getting my money's worth out of it at least, but it still kinda sucks. As I said, it's a fishing RPG, not a fishing sim. You play as 3 college kids, 2 guys and a girl, who are spending their last summer break at a small mountain village fishing at all of the local hotspots. They make friends with the locals and blah blah blah. It's mostly vanilla, but there is a weird side story about a local middle school age girl who's in love with one of the college guys. And the college girl with them actually encourages her to go for it, which is just so painfully anime. Not to mention creepy. The main storyline of the game is really about how weird this village is. Somehow there are gently flowing mountain streams, a giant lake, the ocean, a tropical South American river, and an icy North American river all within 10 miles of this quaint Japanese mountain town. It was obviously just an excuse to cram as many fish species as possible into the game. But even though this mystery is supposed to be the main story, the characters just roll with it and it's never actually explained. Oh, also, there may be a ghost involved. The story is told through visual novel bland nothingness, but the main gameplay is split into 2 parts, fishing and crafting. For whatever reason, you can't just buy new fishing gear at the store like a normal person, and instead you have to craft all of your lures and new rods and reels with materials you either find while fishing or buy from a local shop. This means it's incredibly, ridiculously, insanely grindy. Every fish has a unique lure, and you have to have better equipment to catch bigger fish or cast farther, etc. So progression in the game consists of doing side missions and challenges that are all just catching more fish, in order to earn money that you then spend on crafting materials so you can make better stuff. Over and over and over and over and over again. I have to admit I don't actually mind it that much. I like games that give you a checklist of stuff to do and then get out of your way and let you go do it. The achievements are all tied to crafting all of the stuff and catching all of the fish and all of that. So grinding away knowing that Tasty Delicious Gamer Score was coming my way was motivation enough to keep me playing. After spending 20 hours playing it, I would say that it has been satisfying, but I don't know that I would actually call it fun. The problem is that the actual fishing is just so terrible. Mechanically it's fine, you cast out, you reel in, you drag in a fish now and then. The controls are kind of unresponsive though, and the very frequent QuickTime events just eat your button inputs half the time, which is frustrating. The bigger issue is that the fishing itself is so unrealistically stupid that my brain won't stop screaming at me about how dumb it all is. You see, each species of fish only exists in one tiny part of the game world, usually next to one specific rock or tree or patch of grass, and absolutely nowhere else. Each species also has a single specific lure that they prefer, and will generally only bite that specific lure. So if you don't have the right lure in the exact right spot, it's impossible to catch fish. That's nonsense. That isn't how fishing works. I mean, it's how stupid people think fishing works if they've literally never gone fishing before in their life. But the reality of fishing really isn't that difficult or complicated. To be fair, the game does tell you exactly where to fish and what lure to use for every species if you talk to the other characters at the fishing spot. So the game isn't hard. Although I have seen some people online complain that they played for hours and never caught anything, but they're just morons. I repeat, it actually isn't difficult, it's just stupid. The act of catching fish in real fishing Days of Summer also grinds my gears. But it's really the same issues every fishing game has. I hate how every fishing game treats catching a fish like some epic struggle, where you have to be super careful or you'll instantly break your line and lose the fish. That isn't how fishing freaking works. A crappie or bluegill or other small fish isn't going to break your line no matter how hard you reel. Bigger fish, sure, maybe, probably not actually. It does happen, of course, but when a fish really does break your line, I'm talking about fish that outclass your line weight by a huge margin. Here's a story. In the real world, I use the same exact pole, reel, and 10-pound test line, with different lures obviously, to catch everything from crappie weighing a few ounces all the way up to 15-pound catfish and many other species in between. And the line has literally never broken because the fish fought too hard. It just isn't a thing that happens. Or at least not remotely as often as games make you believe. But in video games, managing your line tension is always the primary gameplay mechanic. And that sucks. Also, fish absolutely do not constantly jump out of the water when you catch them. It does happen once in a while, of course, but about 10,000 times less often than video games make it seem. But every fish in real fishing, no matter how big or small it is, jumps out of the water 15 times while you're reeling it in. It's so stupid. It's a game, I get it. They have to do unrealistic video gamey things to try to make it more fun. But I also can't help it that my real world knowledge of fishing is constantly at odds with practically everything this game and every other fishing game does when it comes to catching fish. All in all, I'm not kidding when I say Real Fishing Days of Summer is an absolutely terrible fishing game. It's just abysmal if you want to approach it as a fishing simulator. If you treat it like a fishing JRPG, however, where grinding enemies to raise your stats and fill out a long checklist collection of stuff is the focus, it can be a lot more enjoyable. And it's only $30, which really isn't too bad. Check it out if you don't mind grindy but easy achievements and want to support Japanese games like this on Xbox. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe and check out otakunofuji.com.